Pop quiz, asshole. You have a hair trigger put at your head. What do? What do you do? Oh no. Speed! Released in 1994 and is directed by Jean Lebont, who also directed films such as Twister, The Haunting, and also the Lara Croft sequel, which the name completely escapes me right now. This movie, of course, stars Keanu Reeves, Dennis Hopper, Sandra Bullock, and Jeff Daniels. Keanu Reeves plays LA SWAT officer Jack Tavern, who is probably the greatest officer ever. He's crazy, he's hot-headed, but he gets the job done. He and his partner, Harry, played by Jeff Daniels, are called to rescue civilians trapped on a dangling elevator. And the elevator is set to explode if the bomber, Dennis Hopper, doesn't receive $3 million that he's asking for. However, Jack and Harry do save the day, but the bomber escapes. We fast forward a little bit, and now the bomber has targeted Jack and informs him that there is a bus in LA that is rigged with an explosive. If the bus goes past 50 miles an hour, the bomb is armed, and if it drops below 50 miles an hour afterwards, it explodes. Of course, Jack finds the bus, and now he's on a mission to save the civilians again, including Wildcat Annie Porter, played by Sandra Bullock. But he has to do this before the bomber is able to collect on the $3 million that he is once again asking for, and he feels that he owns. Now, this movie is one of the quintessential action movies ever. Sure, it's a product of the 90s action fad, but it still holds up today. And the primary reason for that is the premise is absolute genius. Let's have a bus drive around the highways and streets of LA, and if it slows down, it explodes. Brilliant! Brilliant, of course, because LA traffic is probably one of the worst in the country. And this movie is called Speed for a reason. The movie literally never slows down, especially once we get to the bus part. It has obstacle after obstacle after obstacle, and it's an absolute thrill to see all these characters try to solve them. And like I said before, Jack Tavern is probably the smartest and greatest cop ever. Every rigging idea that he comes up with just out of the blue works. And Keanu Reeves, such a badass. He just seems like one cool guy. But I think the most appealing thing about Keanu in this movie is his relatability. You know, this was the time when all of our action heroes were those big, juiced up, jacked, ripped Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone types. But during this time, we started to see the rise of the average man action hero, the relatable one. In particular, Keanu Reeves in Speed, and also you have examples like Bruce Willis in Die Hard. They weren't jacked up muscle heads, they just looked like normal, average guys. And Keanu Reeves is probably one of the most interesting individuals I've ever seen. I mean, he has to be the greatest and nicest guy to work with, because he keeps popping up in so many movies, and his acting ability, and it's just not there. He's very bland and over the top, and every line that he has in Speed is over-exaggerated. I mean that every word in each sentence that he has is punched. There's a bomb on the bus. You know, the fun part of acting is to look over your dialogue and to see in each sentence which word is the big word to hit, you know, to accent, and then which words are the ones to kind of fall back or maybe just throw away. You know, take the sentence, I'm going to the store. The two most important words in that sentence are going and store. And then two that you can kind of just mumble those or just throw them away. We don't care. But Keanu would probably read this line like this: I'm going to the store. To him, every word in that sentence is important. And it's just a pet peeve that I have of Keanu Reeves, because in film acting, again, you have to be 100% dialed in, and you have to be 100% real in front of the camera. And people just don't talk like they're accenting every single word in every sentence that they say. I don't know. It annoys me, but I guess that goes to prove that he's probably the greatest guy to work with. And then there's Sandra Bullock. Be still my beating heart. For Sandra Bullock, this movie was the one that really launched her up into the stratosphere. After this movie, everyone knew who she was. And yeah, she had some small movies before Speed, but Speed was definitely the one that put her on the map. It was a huge financial success, so she was everywhere. And she is a great foil for Keanu Reeves. You know, we got the crazy specialist officer who's hot-headed. And then we have the wildcat Sandra Bullock, who is the audience's window into this movie. She is always questioning Jack at every crazy suggestion that he has. You want me to do what? You want us to jump the bus? We're leaking gas? She's fantastic, and I would let her drive my bus any day. Plus, one of the major successes of this movie is that it has a great villain in Dennis Hopper. You know, it's actually pretty rare to see good motivation for a villain in an action movie nowadays. You know, nowadays in action movies, the villain is really just doing villainous and evil things because there has to be someone doing it. But then when the audience finds out the reasons why Dennis Hopper's character is doing all these heinous acts, you kind of feel sorry for him. You know, he worked decades at a job and then he was shafted out of his pension. Yeah, I'd be pissed off too. I probably would not have gone to the lengths that he does in this movie, but if it happened to me, yeah, I'd be pissed. Probably write a blog about it or complain on Twitter like everyone does nowadays, or start a YouTube channel where I complain about everything. But it's just that in this movie, he tries to blow up Sandra Bullock, which I'm sorry, sir, you don't do. This movie is one of the pivotal action movies of all time, and I think a large part of that is thanks to its use of practical effects. You know, it's an actual bus that is driving on the real highways of LA, and it's an actual bus that does the big jump in the movie. Yeah, this movie has a tangibility about it that a lot of action movies nowadays don't have. And yes, CGI has vastly improved nowadays, but I think even still watching those movies on the big screen, your subconscious is thinking, this isn't real. But with movies like this, because it was so practical in its effects, people are more invested, I think. That being said about the practical effects, this movie does kind of disobey the laws of physics. There's no way that that bus with that many people on it would have made a 50-yard jump on a highway. Actually, I was watching this movie with my wife, and then when that part came up, she yelled out, "Come on!" So everyone, in the end, Speed is one of the best action movies ever made. Its premise is genius, and its use of practical effects makes it hold up still today. The characters are great and believable, but you do have the occasional Keanu Reeves dialogue reading. So because of that, I'm gonna give Speed 4.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I think I see blue. He looks glorious.
It's a great ticking clock action movie that you should definitely watch if you haven't seen it. Alright everyone, now comes my favorite part in my video where I randomly select which movie I'm watching next. Let's take a look. From one action movie to another. Commando! I have actually never seen this movie, but I do know that this poster of Arnold Schwarzenegger is probably one of the most iconic posters that he's in. I have absolutely no idea what this movie's about, so I'm sure it's about Arnold Schwarzenegger killing a lot of people. But whatever. Let's watch it. So everyone, have you seen Speed? What did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, please comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And when you're done commenting, please like and subscribe to my channel so you know the next time I'm posting my next movie review. So everyone, I will see you next time with my review of Commando. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.